We need to remember this equation right here for a circle.
Is it gonna be on the paper?
Yes, I think so. Let me check that real quick. Yep. They will give you the equation for the circle, but we're gonna have to be able to know how to use it. First thing is H and K is your center. Notice what happens with this minus H and minus K when I take it out.
They split up.
But what happens to the sign?
Oh, they change.
They change sign. So whatever it is in here, in the parentheses, when you take it out, you change the sign. And the R is not R, but it's really R squared. So we need to make sure we remember that. See if it's got a problem here. So if I wanted to take this one and write the equation, the center is my H and K part. So when I write it, I've got to change the sign. And then what goes over here? Not 2.
2 squared.
2 squared. All right. The radius part has to be squared. All right. Now on one like this, where it gives you all of this junk and wants you to figure out what the equation is, notice what they did first right here. I got my x squared and x together, then the y squared and y together, and that number goes to the other side. Then they divided everything by 8, which was on the x squared, so that this first one is just a regular 1x squared. All right? So this is where we were at. See if we remember this part right here. Do we remember doing this? Find the number in the middle. What do I do with that number?
Square.
Divide by 2 and then square it. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So that's my new number that I put in. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. And then, I don't have my room over here. The equal side is negative 24.
Right.
Oh, no, negative 3. From over here. It was already a negative 3. And then I added 1 and I added 4. These 3 right here break down as x minus 1 squared, y minus 2 squared equals, what is that, 2? So there would be my equation. What is the center of this one?
What?
A 1 and
1, 2. What is the radius?
4.
Nope.
1.
Nope.
No, 2.
2.
Nope.
I don't know.
Square root of 2. Because we got a square root of whatever's over there. So we need to be able to do that because there's going to be something on there with that. Same process right there. Not a good question. All right. If they gave me this, I would say x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 3 squared. Then you would have to multiply all this stuff out and see which one it matches up with. Here, again, you're going to do this first. What do I need to move first?
11.
I'm going to get rid of that 11 because it's just that regular number has to be by itself. And I would say, everybody understand where the 25 comes from? 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. Y squared does not have a y number with it, so I leave it alone. 11 was over here, and then I added a 25 on the left, so I added 25 on the right. How does that break down? X minus 5, it's going to match that, plus y squared has nothing with it, equals 36. What is the center then?
5 and y.
If there's no number with it,
Y squared.
it's an automatic 0. And the radius is square root of 36, which is 6.
So the 5 cancels. 25 and 2.
This 5 right, or this 5 right here,
Yes, because they both go
comes
into-
from what can multiply and be 25 and add and be 10. Make sure we understand slope. If it's going up to the right, that's positive slope. Down to the right is negative slope. If it's horizontal, that's a slope of 0. If it's straight up and down, that is no slope. Now, they say undefined, same difference. Make sure we know what we're talking about. How do we find slope? What's the formula for slope? Do we remember?
X.
Subtract the y's on the top, subtract the x's on the bottom. That gives you slope. If the slopes are the same, what does that mean about lines?
They're equal.
They're parallel. If the slopes are equal, that's parallel. If the slopes are opposite reciprocals, that means perpendicular. What? If the slope is 2/3 and I say I want the slope that's parallel to it, what slope is that going to be? 2/3. If I want the slope that is perpendicular to it, what's perpendicular to the 2/3?
1/3.
No. Opposite reciprocal.
3/2.
3/2.
Negative 3/2. Flip it and change the sign. Where does the slope come from in the equation? If I'm looking at this equation right here, where does the slope come from?
The negative 7/3.
That part right there. Whatever's in front of the x is your slope. When you make it y equals something, there's your slope. And again, if it's the same slope, what does that mean? Parallel. Opposite reciprocal means perpendicular. So if we're looking at this rectangle right here, I can check that it's a rectangle by saying, are these lines parallel? Top and bottom, left and right. And then are these lines perpendicular? If you look at the slopes, that'll tell you what you're looking at. How would I check number 2 right here? Which point is on the circle with a center of 3, -9, and a radius of 5?
You would do the x and the y, and then you do the radius again.
I think you're kind of going the right way. Tells me the radius is 5.
Oh no, you gotta put one. You gotta put the x's on the bottom and then the y's on the top. You just
But that would be for slope. I think you're thinking the right thing, you're just not saying it right. The radius is 5. So that means from here, which is the center, to the circle, is 5. I'm looking for which one of these points is also 5 away from that. So do the distance formula and see which one of these equals 5. If I do the distance formula for those and it equals 5, then it's a radius of 5 and it's on the circle. What would the slope be right here? Negative 1/2. All right, now look at this right here. It says, which is an equation of the line that is perpendicular to the line and passes through the point -4, 0. Which one of these can I eliminate?
B and A.
Why?
They're fresh.
But how can I eliminate them? How do I know that they're not going to be the answer? What is it asking me for? Perpendicular to this one. Well, the slope of this one is negative 1/2. So if this is negative 1/2, what kind of line is it?
Parallel.
It's parallel. So that's gone and that's gone. So now I know it's one of these two. Right? Because I'm looking for perpendicular to that. So I'm looking for a slope of +2. And it passes through this point. All you got to do is put these numbers in for x and y and see if it works. If I put in -4 right here, do I get 0 as an answer? No. If I put in -4 right here, do I get 0 as an answer? 2 times -4 is -8. -8 plus 8 is 0. So I put in -4 and I got 0. So there's your answer. All right. But you got to be careful about, is it asking for perpendicular or parallel? Remember, if we're doing area of a triangle, that is base times height divided by 2. How do I know when I'm talking about base and height? Which ones are my base and my height?
4, 1, and 1.
Which sides are my height and base?
AB and AC.
I'm looking for a right angle. If I see a right angle, I know I've got my base and my height. So then I would need to find the length of this one, find the length of that one, and then do that formula. Remember the probability stuff? If it says something like this, estimate the probability that a randomly selected student will be a junior given that the student owns a car. Where am I looking now? Find the given that part. Given that they own a car. So how many own a car?
18.
18. See, I'm not doing it the way they're going to do it. I'm going to say, all I'm looking at is how many have a car. 18 have a car. Of those that have a car, how many are juniors? 6. 6 over 18 is your answer. Simplify it down.
Man, they were trying to take you to a long way.
They're doing it the mathematical way.
Yeah.
You know. We're getting straight to the answer of what we need. All right, if it's A and B, what does that mean? Not for this problem, for anything. If it says A and B, it's got to be in both of them at the same time. If it says A or B, if it's in either one of them, it counts as part of the answer. What does that little mark mean?
Not.
So if that's saying what is not in whatever group they're talking about. Again, anything like this, given that is what we're looking for, if they say that, that's going to be the bottom part of the fraction. It's all the same stuff. Be careful on something like this. It says V starts with a vowel and O represents end with an odd. Which of the license plates belongs to the set V and not O? So I'm talking about V means vowel, but not O. Well, O ends with an odd. So not O means it's going to end with even.
It's 80.
Be careful on that right there. Because a lot of times people miss that and they go just straight to the V and the O and they don't read and catch that not part right there. Again, same deal here, given that, if they say they're given that, that's your bottom. Remember on these, can you ever have the biggest number on the bottom? No. No. The biggest number has to be on the bottom. Y'all just go along with whatever. The biggest number has to be on the bottom. You cannot have the biggest number on the top. The bottom number has to be the biggest. Because what's the highest probability we could ever have?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You can only have a 1 as your highest probability. So if you have the biggest number on the top, that means your number is bigger than 1, then that won't work.
Hold on.
Yes.
You record? Yeah, you record.
All right. Remember, if we're doing probability and it is mutually exclusive, cannot happen at the same time. All right. Especially one like this. Remember how we had the chart? What you could roll with the dice? If it's mutually exclusive, remember, you do the first thing plus the second thing minus both of them happening at the same time. So first plus the second minus both of them happening at the same.
So what is that one call where you just add them and not subtract it?
I don't know. I was about to say it and forgot it. I can't remember.
I got you.
All right, all this is the same stuff on probability. Again, if it says something like that, if it can happen at the same time, we're going to do the first thing plus the second, and then minus both of them happening. All right. Let's see if they got something right here. All right. How would I know if these are similar? What am I looking for on similar?
Angles.
Are the angles the same? So that's all you would be looking for. Are the angles the same?
So what would be the
On this one? Yes. All right. So I'm looking at, I need 77, 52. I need to figure out what that one is so that I know all three. So 77 and 52, 129. What is that? 51? So I'm looking for something that has a 77 and a 52 and a 51. Well, there it is. Again, you need to watch the videos on the constructions. Watch the videos.
I can't find my notes.
So those are on there. I'm telling you now. Again, if it is a proof that you have to work out, just say the stuff that you know is true. What is the stuff that you can say that I know that this one is the same as this one? So like here, I would say, well, angle A is in both of them. So angle A has to equal angle A. I've got a right angle here and a right angle there, so those got to be the same. Just say the stuff that you know is equal. On the transformation stuff, just see All right, just see, you should have some kind of figure to look at on that. Which one of these is true? Because you're going to see something like that right there. The sine of one is equal to the cosine of the other. Cosine 40, sine 50. These two numbers have to add up to be 90, and those have to be sine and cosine.
Oh, you're dead. I ain't never knew that.
You do now.
These two have to add up to be 90, and one of them needs to be sine and one of them needs to be cosine. But you're going to see something like that.
So it don't matter which one comes first?
No. Here's something we need to understand. Tangent of G is equal to sine over cosine. You need to understand that. On these, figure out, do the distance formula and see if it's 10 spaces away. Is 0, 5 10 spaces away from 0, 0?
No. Yes. No, B.
Yes, it is.
That one's 10 spaces away. That one's 10 spaces away. If I did that one, it's 10 spaces away. The only one that's not 10 spaces would be the 0, 5.
But how would the A and 6 be?
All right, look at it this way. Here's my 0, 0. If I go 6 or negative 8 and 6, I got a right triangle, right? 6, 8, 10. Now this right here, how do we find sine of x? What is the rule for sine? Opposite over hypotenuse. Well, what are they giving me right here?
Opposite.
They're giving me cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's asking me how would I figure out what sine is? Well, first thing I got to do is figure out what?
Cosine.
No. What do I need for sine?
The base.
I need this. I got to figure out what that is. Well, how am I going to do that?
You do X equals X over 5.
You should realize it's a 3, 4, 5 right triangle.
Oh,
So I'm going to say, well, because I know it's a 3, 4, 5 right triangle, this bottom number, the opposite side is 4. And once I know the opposite side is 4, and I know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse, it'll be 4 over 5. On something like this, you just got to understand the parts that you're looking at. If this is x, I know that this is x. If this is tangent and hits a radius, what does that mean by this?
It's a right angle.
It makes a right angle. I know that angle P is half of whatever x is. All of those rules work. You just got to be able to figure out what they're talking about. It's something like this. It's telling me that this part is 80, which means this right here is what? Now, how am I going to figure out what x is?
It's 90. No, it's equal, so you can do 90, 40, and 2x.
I know that 2x plus 40 plus 90 has to equal 180. And then I would solve that. Or you could say, well, if this is 90 and this is 40, that means this one has to be 50. I could say 2x equals 50 and solve that. Again, on something like this, just do what this is saying down here and see if it matches up. See if it winds up in the same spot.
So which one is the original? Or
They should say on here that carry ABC to QRS, so ABC would be your first one. See, to me, that looks like I'm going to reflect it and then drop it down. So that's what I would kind of be looking for down there. Remember, if we do counterclockwise 270, that's the same thing as 90 clockwise. Follow the rule for 90 clockwise. How would I find the perimeter? What do I need for perimeter? Perimeter is the distance around something. So I need one of the sides. So I will do the distance formula for one of the sides. And once I know one of the sides, then I can multiply by 4 and find the rest of them because it's a square. It says it's a square, so all I've got to do is find one side, distance, multiply it by 4. Which one of these is perpendicular to this one? How do I know when it's perpendicular? The slope is the opposite reciprocal. So this 1/2 is going to be -2. So now I know I'm down here. One of these two, C or D. Plug in the 6 and the 4 and see if it works. Or plug in the 6 and see if you get 4. Remember how we did the circles earlier? Know the rules for quadrilaterals. I think that was a probability one. All right, here, remember it says even number or number less than 3. Can those happen at the same time? So that means I've got to do the first one plus the second one minus both of them happening at the same time. I think that's it.